So this is a really common bait for fishing all kinds of different species in Vermont. Panfish, pumpkin seed, yellow perch, bass, pike, you name it. This is a soft plastic stick worm. Most people call them Senkos, but lots of companies make their own version. This is a worm that has a lot of action. It's very supple, and when you cast it out, you fish it vertically. You just make a long cast and you let it sink. And as it sinks, it sort of does this as it goes down into the water. It's got this really bouncy action. The problem with it being so soft is that the hook, which is just pierced through the middle of the worm, will often tear through that soft plastic and you lose your worm. And it's also bad for the environment. So there's a tool that has been developed to stop that from happening. And it's just an empty metal cylinder that you slide the worm down into, and then you take an O-ring, and you can buy these for fishing from a hardware or a bait and tackle store. You can also get them at the hardware store. You slide that up over the pointed end of the tube, and you roll it off the end of the tube onto the stickworm or Senko. Now you can just take your hook, and instead of hooking it through the plastic, you just go under the O-ring and back out again. Now that is not going to come off now. Even if the worm tears, you're actually hooked under the O-ring, and that O-ring is, see, it's stretchy. This makes you able to cast it further, keep your bait longer, avoid losing it, and if a fish bites it, this just slides up the hook and right up your line sometimes, and it's completely away from the fish as you're fighting it. The fish is now hooked on the hook, your lure is out of the way, and you're less likely to lose it. And it also imparts a really, really nice action. Gives it even more action when it's just skin hooked underneath that O-ring. You can buy these Senko tools, which is just a hollow piece of aluminum tapered at one end, and a bag of O-rings from almost any fishing store, Bass Pro, Cabela's, even Amazon, or your local bait and tackle shops probably stock these as well. And they're about $5 for the tube and a bag of rings.